Peace and love this morning. Welcome to our Monday morning meditation. This is like number 339 or some crazy number like that. We've been at this a long time now. Thanks for being here live and by recording. One of the reasons why we practice together is because when we practice together, we ritualize our practice. Every Monday morning at 8 a.m., we're practicing meditation in a group, and it's a commitment for your interior self, using society as a tool, other people showing up. But also it's true for recording too. If you're using this practice time through recording, that counts as well. But the other reason why we show up all the time is because the prana energy, the life force energy, is multiplied when we practice together. It's just one of those things that happen. Maybe you've seen that for yourself. Maybe you haven't experienced it yet, but eventually you will. And if you've been following along, we're currently exploring the practical meditation practices written by Patanjali. This is just one translation, the first one that I ever read, and my bookmark just fell out. Anyway, it's we've been studying the Yoga Sutras in our Kriya Yoga class, and I thought it was a good idea to bring over some of the practical types of meditation that Patanjali wrote down 2,000 years ago in the Yoga Sutras, which is still in print. And why is it still in print? Because ancient mystical literature often has value to oneness seekers. Oneness seekers. I'm a oneness seeker. And I've been practicing and teaching from that book. Even though I did it secretly in the church, I never told anybody what I was doing. I went so far as to forget all the language and incorporate the practices because they work. They do. And the sutras that we're covering over these few days, and we began maybe 2 or 3 videos ago, the sutras that we're covering these days are the core practice teachings. And today we're doing 134. The sutras are broken up into 1, 2, and 3, and then they're numbered verses inside. So 1.34, it's the meditation practice of breath holding. And maybe you use breath holding, prana. Prana means breath. Prana means breath, but that's not really what it means. Prana isn't the breath. And the practice of pranayama, breath use, control, and meditation is the control of breath and the access to the actual prana. Now, prana, it's the life force energy in all things. And in the Chinese call prana chi. I think the Christians call it Holy Spirit. They definitely, I believe, think that they do. They did in the ancient Jewish times call it Sophia, wisdom, this energy, wisdom presence, feeling of the divine energy, prana or chi. And Patanjali, the author of the Yoga Sutras, he didn't give many particulars about prana. But this is what I've learned over 40 years, that prana follows the breath and the concentrated mind. And because the two together, the concentration of the mind and the breath, leads the prana, gives it an opportunity to reveal itself. And then what happens is that as one deepens in the practice, the prana, even though the concentration of the mind and the breath are paramount in the practice, the prana eventually leads the practice, because the prana will reveal new kriya practices for you, different places for your mind. I do, as you practice with me, you'll learn that I use a lot of chakra stacking and looping chakras and big loops and small loops and left sides and right sides, and there's a lot that can be shown to you as the practice develops. I didn't know any of that stuff when I started. I was a Catholic Greek Orthodox kid, didn't know nothing about chakras except for what I read in here and there, but mostly it was this Kriya Yoga. So, all right, so here's 134, and I'm going to give you several different translations The mind becomes clarified by the exhalation and retention of the breath. The mind field becomes clarified also by holding in and holding out the breath. Another translation, or through the measured exhalation, the controlled breath. Okay, so it's measured exhalation. So it's holding breath and controlled breath, and by the retention of breath. Or another translation, that calm, and this is important because this is an aspect of the practice that will impact your life directly. That calm is retained by the controlled exhalation and retention of the breath. So am I a volatile person? I'm not a volatile person. I've never really been one, but I can get riled a little bit. You push the wrong button or the right button, and so how do I practice my calm by going back to my breath. Calm is a practice, but calm is also the result of the practice. Sort of like this prana thing. It's it, f- it breath is called prana, and prana is the life force energy. They're kind of together. So calm is kind of together with the practice. It gives you a tool to use. One can retain calm by the controlled exhalation. You've probably just done this naturally. They say you're angry and you're trying to like keep that anger in. You maybe have done that naturally, but the controlled exhalation and retention of the breath is a major part of accessing the source of all being. And that's what this is all about. Here's another translation. The mind may also be calmed by the expellation, which is exhale. It's just another way to write it, and I'm kind of stumbling. And the retention of the breath, same thing. By throwing out the breath, I love this one, by throwing out the breath and retaining the breath. So there's a place for that kind of thing too. Or there's the place for this kind of breath as well. I find that stuff to make me a little heady, gets a little too much oxygen going inside of me. That's just me. Holding control inside, outside, gentle, strong, brief, long, strong, active mental control using the breath and your mantra. The top and bottom of the breath. Okay, so this is important. The top of the breath, I call this the top in my head. In the space where the top of the breath you're in, and then it reverses, the space between them, that reversal space, which can be small. Watch this. That's a small one. Here's a long one. In that space is where the silence is revealed, where the calm becomes actualized, where the quiet becomes present, where the emptiness becomes aspect of yourself. So that's one of the great things about these practices by Patanjali from the Yoga Sutras, that they impact our daily life. They impact my daily life. They impact my daily life, and I am a better person for it. Really, it helps me in my relationships. It helps me in my way that I behave in the world. So that's my little chit chat this morning. Thanks for liking and subscribing. I appreciate that. Roger, I'm praying for you. Thanks, Roger. I appreciate that. I could definitely use some right now. That's helpful. Thank you. Hey, Ken, and in Canada and New Britain. I'm guessing NB is New Britain. Right across my border, pretty much. All right. We have enough time for 20 minutes of meditative practice. I wanted to, if you're interested in advancing in your practice, I'm going to open up my notes here. I've got a big file in front of me, and I want to make sure that I'm looking at the one that was 134. So today in your practice, Thank you, Ken, very much for the super chat. In your practice today, this is what I'm requesting. You do whatever you want. That's the other thing about this. If you just want to do breath and chant, just do breath and chant. That's very effective, and it's also a great beginning and long-term practice. I still do that practice, just my chant and my breath into my belly and out my nose, or into my belly into my brow, my third eye. But today I'm going to ask you to do something. We've been running up and down the spine a little bit. So I'd like, if you've been practicing for a while and you can bring your mind to your root chakra, just run from your root chakra up to the top of your spine and back down again, and up and down and up and down. And at the top, hold your breath a little longer. And at the bottom, hold your breath a little longer. Say it's 2 or 3 beats, because we don't want to over oxygenate or under oxygenate our bodies. At least I don't want to do it to myself, because that means I can maintain a steady mental space of calm. So stop at the top, stop at the bottom. If you're a beginner, stop a little bit at the top, stop a little bit at the bottom. Listen to your breath. Feel your breath. Feel your breath in your chest. Feel your breath in your belly. Feel your breath. Use your physical body to use your breath with your mental focus. And the chant that you chant will drop away. The chant's important. I still chant my chant, but pray my prayer. But if you pay more attention to the breath with your mental focus, the prana becomes more feelable. Okay. Thanks for being here this morning. I sure appreciate it. Hey, Roger. Thanks for those prayers. All right. Feet flat on the floor, spine straight. I'm going to sit back a little bit from my mic so you don't have to listen to me breathing too much anyway. Maybe it'll help a little. All right. So stretch my face, stretch my shoulders, drop my shoulders down. I'm going to be trying to do somewhat of a calm meditation. I often do muscular tension during my meditation in the beginning, but I'll begin with just the pranayama, holding at the top, holding at the bottom. Follow along, breathing in my nose, down my spine, feeling my spine, filling my belly, and expanding my belly like a bellows. Pause. Feel the roundness. Exhale, relax, let it flow. At the top, ride your breath up to your brow or your nose or your crown. Pause. Inhale. Control. Slow. Strong. Full. Pause. Exhale. Pause at the top. Inhale. On your own. Use a gentler belly. Long and slow. Empty your lungs. Pause. Peace and love, everyone. Hi, Alex. And thank you for being here. See you soon. Peace, everyone.